Hello, welcome to Florida Day 15.
We're staying out all night under endless skies, living our lives, put your hand in mine. We're doing all the things that money can't buy. Yeah, we're never gonna die. Baby, it's summer for the rest of our lives.
Good morning, it's Sunday here now and we have decided to have a bit of a chilled morning. It's just been really busy in the park, so we thought we would just have a quiet one and go into Islands of Adventure a bit later on. We're also going to a new Mexican restaurant that we've never tried before later, so you'll see all of that later in the video. But I just thought I'd start off now that we're kind of 2 weeks into the holiday. We've done a lot of Disney, a lot of Universal, in giving kind of just some of the things that I've noticed in terms of advice in the last couple of weeks. Obviously we aren't experts. I haven't ever used Genie Plus. The MagicBand Plus has only just come out, so I don't really have any expert advice on it. But just as somebody who hasn't used it before, if you are concerned about how it all works, it isn't complicated. Once you get here, it all kind of makes sense. I've been getting up every morning at about 5 to 7, so just with enough time to kind of log into the app. It does seem to log you out quite a lot, so it is worth giving yourself a little bit of time to log yourself back in. I don't know why, the app's just a bit temperamental. So yeah, other than that, once you get onto the app, you'll have your kind of Disney Genie day all set out if you've done it before. That's something else to mention. I'll try and do a screen grab of it actually to put in here to show you. Before the morning that you're going to a park, so let's say you're going to Magic Kingdom, you can go on any time before and select that date and say what you want your Disney Genie day to be. So you go into the Genie section, and what it tries to do is basically tell you where you should go and what you should do. But let's say you know that the things that you want to do the most are Space Mountain and Thunder Mountain. Don't select any other rides, just select those two, and then it will put them to the top of your tip board. So then in the morning when you go to try and select your rides, they'll come up first. It's not such a big deal for Magic Kingdom, so maybe that is a bad example. But for places like Hollywood Studios, for example, where you know that you want to try and get either Slinky Dog or one of the Star Wars rides, obviously Rise of the Resistance is an individual lightning lane that you have to pay for, so you may be less likely to want to do that one. But definitely for the other Star Wars ride and for Slinky Dog, it's worth having them right at the top of your list, so that then in the morning you can refresh the page and click on it straight away. I'd watched quite a few videos about this before, and one thing I will say, we're obviously here in the height of summer when it is actually really busy, and even yesterday we went to Animal Kingdom in the morning, and then at about 11 o'clock I tried to get a lightning lane for Slinky Dog, and I was still able to at that time for 7 o'clock. So I do think that it's opened things up a bit. I know that lots of people have sort of concerns about Genie Plus and whether or not it's worth it. I have mentioned in previous videos that we were actually really lucky in that we managed to get Genie Plus as part of our ticket, which they don't do anymore. If I did have to book it every day and pay the full amount every night, and you can only book it at midnight the night before as well, I can understand why people aren't sure about it. But from my experience of how I've used it on this trip, and if it is ever an opportunity again in the future to buy it ahead of time and have it for the whole holiday, I do think it's really worth it. Particularly for a park like the Magic Kingdom. We've basically not done any queues for the Magic Kingdom the whole time we've been here because of how much availability there is for Genie Plus. But on top of that, I've noticed that the queue times don't seem to be crazy for that, and I do think that maybe Genie Plus has some sort of hand in that. So overall, I think it's a good system. I do think that there's some things they need to iron out in terms of some of the rides, like at Epcot, Guardians of the Galaxy. The whole time we've been here, the price for a lightning lane has been $17, which for a family, you know, for 6 of us is just crazy money, so it's not something we'd even consider. At the moment, that's still a virtual queue, which is kind of like a separate thing from what I've been talking about. So if you do want to try and get in that queue, and again, by the time this video is going out, this might have all changed and it might be a regular queue again, because I know Rise of the Resistance used to be and now it's not, so let's see. But if it is, again, it's really simple. Just go on the app first thing on the day that you're going to Epcot. We did it a couple of weeks ago, about 10 days ago now, and I'll link that video here so you can see how we did it. But basically I got up again at like 5 to 7, went on, clicked join virtual queue, and you can do that obviously still at home, you don't have to be in the park. and then we were boarding group 117, and that ended up being around 4 o'clock, I think it was 4 or 5 o'clock by the time we actually got on the ride. And it does give you an estimate, but the estimate kept changing throughout the day. It started off at 7, then it dropped, then it went up a bit, then the ride went down, so it went up a bit more. So that's worth knowing about. So yeah, there are lots of complicated elements to booking a Disney trip now and to organising it, particularly if you're the person who's organising it for your whole party. And I might try and make a clearer video when I get home if people are interested, because I think that I can't really explain it all now because of how many different elements there are to go through, particularly even just with linking your family and friends to your My Disney Experience app, which is something that we did when I was still in London. And I think it is nice to do because all of my family have been able to have the app separately, so they can see when I've booked something, what time we've got things booked for and what they're doing and where they're going. But at the same time, it is complicated, and particularly if people have bought their own tickets and then have already started looking at the app themselves, if you're the person that's kind of in charge of the trip, that can be a bit difficult as well, because obviously you're trying to book it all, but you also don't want to tell people what to do. So yeah, that's Disney. When it comes to Universal, obviously that's a completely different system. We've found the queue times at Universal have been higher, or we've spent more time in queues at Universal, definitely. And also, I think you've seen it in other videos that rides have been going down a lot more at Universal as well. Partly because of the weather, which obviously can't be helped, but there have also been quite a few occasions where, well, once we actually got stuck on the ride, and other times where we've gone up, like the other morning for Rip It Rocket, we still haven't managed to do, just because it keeps going down all the time. And this is our last day at Universal today, and I'm not sure if we're actually going to manage to do it, because we did love Hagrid, so that is a ride that I would definitely say to make sure you just get in the queue for. We're going to go and do that this evening. Something else we've learnt on this trip, which goes for both Universal and Disney, which I did mention in last night's video, or yesterday's video, if you get into the line get into a queue at closing time, so as long as you are literally a minute before the park closes, you'll be able to get into the queue. I did not know this before we came on a trip, and obviously when you're a group of, before my sisters were much younger, so we would never have been there at park closing and wanting to stay really late. But now that we're all old enough to stay up and queue, you can get in the queue, for Universal tonight, we're hoping to get in the queue for Hagrid's just before 10 o'clock. And then hopefully have a shorter queue and also stay later in the park to have more opportunities to go on rides before we get in the queue. So that's definitely something that I would say is worth doing if you can, if you have an opportunity to. One other thing, just while I'm sat here recording this morning, going back to points about Disney, is this week the new MagicBand Plus came out on my birthday, and I have got that in previous videos, which I'll link below. But I don't feel like I explained it very well because of the fact that I was just running around the park with it. Basically, it's a new version. You can still get the old MagicBand and use your old MagicBands, but this new version is a bit more interactive. It lights up, it vibrates, and it works with various different elements of the park. So on the first day, the things that I was able to do with it was go up to the golden statues, which are just here for the 50th, and it interacts with them and kind of makes them light up, and doesn't make them light up, it makes the band light up, and then they make a sound. The first day I found this was a bit glitchy, but as time's gone on, it's actually been a bit better. You might notice in the previous videos, sometimes you can't hear the sound coming out of the statues, whereas I've noticed in the last couple of days they're a bit louder. So whether or not Disney made them louder, I don't know, but it seems like they have to me. You literally just walk up to them and wave, and then they interact. If this was like one of the only elements that the band did, I wouldn't say it was worth paying the extra money for, but it is quite a fun, extra thing that you can do. Something else that it does is during the fireworks and parades and other shows, it's interactive, different lights come up on it, and again, it kind of vibrates with the music and stuff. I noticed that on the first night when we were watching the Epcot fireworks, the colours of the band match the colours of the fireworks and what's going on. It's kind of a bit unnecessary because obviously when you're watching them you are more interested in the fireworks, but again, it's just a bit of fun. And the third thing, which I actually really did enjoy and I am hoping to do more of in the next week while we're still here, is in Galaxy's Edge. There's a lot of interactive elements. So I showed it on yesterday's video, but I don't think I really had a chance to explain it because I didn't really understand it myself. But when you basically arrive at Galaxy's Edge, you need to have the Disney Play app downloaded, and then you go up to the bounty board, which is towards, as you walk into Galaxy's Edge, it's basically like right in the centre, right next to all of the shops and everything. It's in between Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run kind of area. You'll find it. You basically go up and scan your MagicBand on the board, and then it gives you a task, and then you go off, and it kind of lights up green if you're going the right direction, lights up red if you're going the wrong direction. I found it like we've found the things really quickly, so it doesn't take loads of time. I think there's loads of challenges that you can do, and I am hoping to do more of it. Basically, I don't really know what happens in the end because we haven't really explored it yet and done it, but it is fun, and I do think that actually even just me having it within our group is a bit of fun because everybody can see how it works. And I do also think that they're meant to be building on it, so there'll be more and more interactive elements that you can use as time goes on and as they kind of more and more people have the MagicBands. Because at the moment they've got a whole system for only a small amount of guests because not everybody has obviously bought into the MagicBand Plus. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I think it's nice to have. It's not actually that much more expensive than the regular MagicBands, and I think from my understanding they're probably going to phase out the old ones anyway. So yeah, I think if you're here and you're going to be here for a couple of weeks, they're worth getting because they are fun. So this is it, Rocco's Tacos and Tequila Bar. We've never been here before. It's very early because we are going to Universal after, and we wanted to eat here first. So we've been waiting, had an early lunch, and we're ready to try what it has to offer. The coconut quesadilla. Mum's got tacos, Dad's got enchiladas, and Lucia's got a burrito. This says they're nice. Yummy. Yeah. Do you want to film mine as it's different? Heading back to Hogsmeade for the final time. The queue at night. It says 105 minutes, and judging by where people are stopping, I think it's going to be that today. Sadly it was 60 minutes, but Velocicoaster went down, so it's ramped up the queue on this ride. In the last bit of the queue, hopefully about 5-10 minutes till we're on the ride now. I'm going in the motorbike this time. I don't think I explained anything about what we were doing since dinner. We've come to Universal and we've queued up for Hagrid's. It's taken us about an hour so far and we're nearly on the ride. It said it was 105 minutes and it's a Sunday night. It's not that busy in the park in general. Most of the queue times are quite low at the moment. That was so good, wasn't it? I was in the front row that time. I didn't go in they were in the front row, sorry. I was in the second row, but I was in the motorbike that time. It's such a good ride, honestly. It's the best one. I think that is the best ride I've been on. I think that is the best. I just think it's got every single thing in it. We won't tell you what happens, but it is intense. It's more intense. When I came off it last time, because I enjoyed it so much, I think I kind of like almost blotted out how full on it is. Yeah. It's more intense than any ride at Disney, isn't it? Yeah. Definitely. Maybe not more than Rock and Roller Coaster, but it's so good. After Hagrid's, just gonna grab some icy or butterbeer. Can't really see it, but I've got my butterbeer, first of the holiday, and it will be my last because this is our last night at Universal. We enjoyed that so much. We're getting back in the queue. We know this queue well now, so we know what to expect. I wouldn't usually do that for a ride, but it's so good. And we can't go over to Universal now, so it's basically just a case of going on whatever we can at Islands of Adventure. So it would be between this and Velocicoaster, and Lucia didn't really love Velocicoaster. Velocicoaster for me probably is like right on the edge of what I enjoy, whereas this I absolutely love. So it made sense just to jump back in the queue and do it again.
I think it's time to give this idea a go. Stand back. Jiminy! Well, that's just marvellous, Arthur. Not bad. I think we're ready.
We've just had our Menchies, our tradition at the end of the Universal day, or Islands of Adventure day today. We literally just did Hagrid's tonight. We didn't try and do anything else in terms of rides, just because that's our favourite one, isn't it, at the whole of Universal. so we just decided to focus on doing that twice. I also bought a t-shirt. Actually, I can show you. This is the t-shirt I bought. I got it out. It's like grey and it's got the old classic Universal logo on it. And Lucia, what did you buy? I bought the unicorn from Despicable Me, of course. So we're heading back to the house now. I'm going to do a 2-day video now because I don't feel like we've done enough today for it to be one video. So I'll see you in the morning and we'll be heading to Epcot at some point tomorrow, depending on what entry we get for Guardians of the Galaxy. Bye! Bye! Good morning, it's now the next day and we're off to IHOP, which is somewhere we've never been before. Joe's cold brew, half and half going in. We've ordered milkshakes. I think I made the right decision. Pancakes. Lucia's got what's your double blueberry pancakes. We all got regular breakfast with pancakes on the side. Sophia also got the blueberry pancakes. Did you enjoy that, Lucia? Because that was your request.
Good.
Yeah, very
Those
yummy.
are the best pancakes I've had all holiday.
It's good. It's very, very similar to Denny's, isn't it? The pancakes were better.
No, I think on a pancake.
On a pancake, no, it's definitely better. And they also have French toast, waffle. They don't have any of that at Denny's. So they do have French toast, they don't have waffles. Anyway.
And they do British style.
I would say the standard of food is pretty similar in my opinion, but yeah. Similar sort of price. On the 192, I'll show you where we are now. Next to the Mermaid gift shop. We're now heading to Epcot, but we keep having our time changed for Guardians, which is a little bit annoying. So at Epcot, Test Track and Guardians have been down all morning, which is obviously the two things that we've got booked. So we just had to play it by ear as usual. We're back at Epcot. Good news, Test Track is back up and running. So our lightning lane for that's in half an hour. So we're going to head over to Nemo, the Nemo ride and Turtle sort of crush. We've made it to the Nemo ride.
Yeah, stand by.
Getting in the queue, it's only 10 minutes. We're in the queue, it's very air-conned if you're looking to get out of the heat at any point.
Nemo's swimming out the sea!
Oh, don't worry. Just keep your eyes open for him along the way.
Nemo!
Oh, let's go.
Waiting to go on Turtle Sort of Crush now. It's only 3 minutes.
Perfect. Now, Squirt wanted to know what humans like doing at the beach. So, if you like to go to the beach, totally raise your fin. Whoa.
Finally, we're going on Test Track. The queue is huge, you can't really see it. It's 105 minutes standby time, but luckily we have a lightning lane, but even that's got a queue. The ride was down this morning, so I imagine everybody that's come into the park thinking that Test Track was one of their priorities and now trying to do it in the afternoon, so very busy. We had another Disney fail. Test Track closed down halfway through our queue time, and it's going to be about 85 minutes before they get it back up and running. So we don't know if we're going to get on that today / ever on this trip. Well, we're going on Soaring now, which we have a lightning lane for, and then we're going on Guardians, hopefully. I don't feel as if I filmed much of the land pavilion, but here it is. We just saw Mickey over at Garden Grill. I finally got my premium ice cream sandwich. I've waited 7 years for this. I love these so much. Here it is in all its glory. I just love these. Some of the 50th stuff. These are $34. This album was the other thing I wanted, but again it's $34. It's taken us 2 weeks and we're finally getting on Test Track. Yay! So it louder for the people in the back. Yay! We've been waiting for so long and we're going on Guardians after this, but the time just keeps going back and back and back and back. But we are going to go on Test Track, finally, hopefully, as long as it doesn't break again.
The seatbelt check is around the corner. For your safety, remain seated with your seatbelt fastened in your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times.
That was so much fun. We all loved that. I think I put the little video in. Hopefully it came out okay. Yeah, it was really good fun. All of us found it like just the right level. It wasn't too exhilarating, but it also wasn't like pathetic. You can kind of tell why it might have been going down a lot. It did feel a bit glitchy. There were moments where it was like quite jolty, and I guess they want to make sure it's safe. So anyway, I have no idea why it went down. I'm just guessing, but yeah, no, it was really good fun. And now we've got about 20 minutes until we can get in the Guardians queue. 71 and we're group 72, so we're just waiting for that to change.
Going forward, turning on the colorblind green, we'll let you know what's going on.
We just did Guardians again. It was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's really tricky because I don't know what's my favourite ride now. Going on that again, I just remembered how much I like it.
For me, like that and Hagrid's are top, like they're joint top, definitely. They were so good.
Remain seated with the doors closed, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside while the tram is moving.
It's looking very stormy over there. We're just on the monorail. We got back from Epcot. I've completely forgot to vlog any of it. Had a little rest, and now we're on our way to the Magic Kingdom. But the weather has taken a serious turn for the worst. It wasn't forecast. It was going to be a clear night. We were really looking forward to the fireworks. Still hoping that at least the 11 o'clock should be on, because that's not for hours. We've already done a pre-order at Casey's Corner, so we're heading straight there. But yeah, the weather's not looking great, is it? Lots of lightning cracks along the sky.
I'm hoping it's going the other way.
It looks ominous. The castle looks all Halloweeny.
And stay clear of the doors until the monorail stops completely.
We're in Casey's, waiting out the storm. We've done a mobile order. So this is the first place I found this cheese sauce I've been looking for literally 15 years. They stopped doing it. Did they? And I've ordered cheese sauce every time I've gone to a quick service, and it's never been this one. So if you want this cheese sauce that they used to have in the pumps, go to Casey's Corner. Also, this is what... Yeah. Hello, I'm back at the house. That was a massive fail. A few things went wrong. Obviously, the fact that there was a massive storm, which I'll have put video in that you'll have seen. The other thing being that even if there hadn't have been a massive storm, there weren't any 11 o'clock fireworks tonight. So we would have been waiting, and then we would have got to 11 o'clock, and we'd have missed the 9:20 ones because we were going to queue up for Mine Train. So maybe it all worked out okay. We actually managed to dodge the rain. None of us got wet by eating 2 courses of Casey's Corner hot dogs. So we had quite a good night, even though it all went horribly wrong and we didn't actually achieve anything. Yeah, so yeah, just another day of dodging storms in Orlando. Anyway, I'll leave the video here and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.